Tesla has just begun hiring people in Australia. If you're interested, apply now. It's on Tesla's website. Tesla are looking for people to test its full self-driving. I've got to say, it sounds like a pretty good job to me. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. My name's Sam Evans. Great to see you. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Welcome back, everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. Now, if you're not aware, obviously, as you can tell by the accent, yes, I'm from Australia. So this is something that I saw this role and I thought, this is quite interesting for some of my friends. Maybe they would be interested. But even more so than that, this is also interesting for what Tesla's clearly planning to do. Tesla is hiring Australian drivers to drive its cars or not drive its cars. Why are they doing this? Well, they're planning on rolling out full self-driving. In particular, Tesla believe that their full self-driving hardware 4 stack, new cameras, new computer chip, new improved software will drastically improve its full self-driving of making it able to drive by the end of this year fully autonomously. Now, do I believe that's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you at the end of this video when I think Tesla's full self-driving software will actually be capable of full self-driving without any human intervention at all. The rollout of Tesla's flagship full self-driving autonomous technology, or at the moment semi-autonomous technology in Australia, is bringing Tesla a step closer to actually having cars that will drive themselves and have cars that will be potentially able to be taxis for you, make you money. That's the whole idea. Well, not the whole idea, but it's a big part of Tesla's idea here. So Tesla is looking for electric car specialists or just general people, and it wants to hire drivers to help calibrate its driver assistance systems in Australia. The 4 testing roles, plus a further 2 positions supporting the operational side of the program, are currently advertised on Australia's website, or Tesla's Australian website, the staff that Tesla want in Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and Perth. Tesla says in the job listing that lead ADAS, or Advanced Driver Assistance System, test operators are expected to continuously support the data collection effort to improve vehicle performance, along with recording, analyzing, and proactively resolve any roadblocks to ensure smooth operations. What's really interesting about this is Tesla are not only hiring these new staff members in Australia, they're doing this in other countries as well. They're doing the same thing in the United States, in Canada. But what I find fascinating is this is happening at the same time that Tesla is building the fastest supercomputer in the history of the world. Now, that is not an understatement. Tesla say that the system will have the ability to have 100 exaflops of computing power. The fastest computer in the world right now has 27. 27 is Google's supercomputer, which is capable of quantum computing. Tesla say when its new system is completely fully operational, it'll have 100 exaflops of processing power. That is insane. And the whole point here, that system is intended to speed up the learning of Tesla's full self-driving. So it's like teaching a child to drive better. Eventually, I think this system will be far better than myself at driving it, far better than 99% of drivers on the road will be. I mean, there's no driver on the road that has a camera in the back of its head. Yes, you have a rear view mirror, but there's lots of blind spots when you're normally driving, and you're relying on computer systems in and of themselves to help you know whether or not the car's in your blind spot. And, you know, basically you're turning your head to look sometimes to see if the car in your blind spot. What happens when you turn your head? Who knows? Something runs across the road and you hit it. Anyhow, the point is, eventually, computers will be much safer. And considering one of the lead causes of death worldwide is road traffic deaths, the lead cause of death that you can't really do anything about, I think this is really a good step in the right direction, because it's not only Tesla cars will be able to do this, lots of brands will eventually have this ability. And when they do, well, it's going to mean that you'll be a lot safer. Tesla's full self-driving technology, the more advanced evolution of its Autopilot technology, is not available currently for Australian drivers. Now, you can pay 10,000 Australian dollars to add the option to your car with the promise that the technology will be available in the future at some point. We don't know how that's going to work, but you can do that right now if you want to in Australia. But the really important thing here is so many people don't understand the difference. They think Autopilot is full self-driving. It's a little bit embarrassing because people pretend like they know. They pretend like, I heard this report here. This car crashed into another car. It was using full self-driving software. The person was asleep. Right. You know all these kinds of comments. But almost very rarely is this true. It's actually almost always Autopilot. And Autopilot is just standard software technology, standard safety technology that comes with Tesla vehicles. In fact, every single brand of car, not everyone, but 9 out of 10 car brands in the world now have their own version of Autopilot. And those cars are involved in crashes daily, or probably by the hour. It's just normal. I mean, every car gets into crashes. So Tesla takes a lot of heat for crashes involving Autopilot, when Autopilot is never intended to be relied upon for completely driving the car. If someone is driving with Autopilot and have a crash, it's 100% their own fault. And I don't see anyone blaming Toyota for driving with their cars' automated safety systems on and then having a crash. They blame themselves because they're the ones meant to be operating the vehicle. So that's a bit of confusion there. Full self-driving and Autopilot are two different things. You pay extra for full self-driving. Autopilot comes standard with the car. Tesla's website says an auto steer feature planned to work on city streets as part of its full self-driving suite is upcoming in Australia. In June this year, it was reported that Tesla had rolled out a pre-release version of this driving software on a few vehicles in Australia for testing. So more than likely, those would be the vehicles that you would be driving if you got this job. The advertisement for testing staff is a formal path towards Tesla actually eventually getting a license to have cars that will drive themselves in Australia. Now, it's going to be tough in Australia because we're the most regulated country in the world. A lot of Australians hate hearing that because they feel like, no, I love Australia, mate. Don't bag out Australia. Australia's the best country in the world. America sucks. Unfortunately, a lot of Australians really believe that stuff. They've probably never been to America. America's amazing. And they say this kind of stuff. They really believe this real exceptionalism, this nationalism, that Australia is the best place in the world, and therefore anything we do here in Australia is the right thing. The truth is, in terms of tax rules, in terms of just general rules, COVID rules, everything, we have more rules than any other country in the world. Unfortunately, that's just the way that our system is. Therefore, it's going to be very freaking hard for Tesla to get a permit for full self-driving in Australia. I think it's going to take at least 10 years. Australia will be probably last to make that decision. You probably have the US will approve this within, I think, a couple of years. You'll have other countries approve it, within that period of time, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Australia will almost certainly be last. So I think probably 10 years in Australia before it's approved here. I could be wrong though. You never know. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Tesla is currently the 8th most popular new car brand in Australia, but a few times it has had the best-selling passenger car vehicle in Australia, period, this year. Its sales have been incredible this year. In fact, electric car sales have gone up massively. Last year, they were about 2.7%. This year, we're up at over 8%. So that's nearly a tripling of electric car sales in Australia. So what are the requirements? There's one requirement to get this job with Tesla. The company says you need a clean driver's license, safe driving habits, a range of technical communication skills, and an understanding of how advanced driver assistance technology and vehicle sensor arrays function. You can really get a lot of that understanding simply by watching YouTube videos, by reading articles on YouTube, get onto ChatGPT, ask some questions, and you can really kind of probably learn that kind of stuff within about a week, I think. But let me know what you think about this, guys. Do you see Tesla's full self-driving software getting licensing in Australia before I do? In other words, in less than 10 years. What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments. But before I go, what do I think on Tesla's full self-driving actually being approved in the United States and actually functioning so you really can drive it and it really is safer than a human being, or a good driving human being, because it's already safer than a bad driving human being, but a good driving human being. When will that happen? I believe it will happen with hardware 5. Tesla already are working on hardware 5 chip right now with Samsung. They have a new chip coming out. Combine that with probably next generation 10 megapixel camera suite all around the car, Dojo supercomputer improving the neural network by a factor of maybe 1,000 within the next 12 months. By the end of next year is when I think it will happen. But hey, I'm an optimist. Bye-bye.